Hello there. I decided to make a video today about alignments in 5th edition. And for me, it's really important that we talk about, um, specifically that we talk about entire planes of existence in 5th edition. Now, when we talk about it, we have to specifically talk about the cosmology of D&D. If we're talking Faerun specifically, and the different planes of existence, the inner, the ethereal, the prime, the astral, the outer planes. Um, if we think about um, the inner planes are all elemental energy, but we have in the inner planes positive energy and negative energy. Now the inner planes, the negative energy plane, is home of stagnation, entropy, and the undead. Any unprotected living creature exposed in the negative energy plane has its life force rapidly drained and will die until they run out. Most necromantic spells, including bolstering undead and rebuke undead, draw on this plane, and most undead creatures have an inherent connection to it. Positive energy plane is the plane of creation and energy, the total opposite. Despite the plane's life-giving effects, unprotected living creatures living in the positive energy plane become overloaded with life energy and may explode. Necromantic spells harming undead and turn undead abilities draw on this plane, and most deathless creatures have an inherent connection to it. So, the negative energy and positive energy planes attached to life. Now, where am I getting at with this? Well, if we look at the outer planes are all based on alignments. They're the home of the gods, dead souls, and the raw philosophies and beliefs. They're often referred to as godly planes, spiritual planes, divine planes. Um, Each outer plane is usually a physical manifestation of a particular moral or ethical alignment, and the entities that dwell there often embody the traits related to that alignment. So alignments, if we were to say, we're going to get rid of alignments entirely, we're going to get rid of in 5th edition, we're just not going to use them. We are literally wiping out entire planes of existence in canon Faerun. There are entire planes devoted to specific alignments. I'll go through a couple. Elysium is neutral good. It is the plane of peace and unadulterated goodness. That is where Gardinols, which are noble immortal humanoids with bestial features, live, and is also the home of Pelor, the sun deity. Let's look at the Beastlands. They are also called the Happy Hunting Grounds. They shift between neutral good and chaotic good. Yes, there is an alignment shift, but there are still alignments there. It is the plane of idealized nature. It is home to animal lords. They are typical rulers of various animal species. Harambe, unfortunately, would be probably referred here. Um, Alona, the goddess of forests, lives here. I'm sorry for the Harambe reference, but you know what I mean. Um, Yizgard, or Asgard, or Gladheim, or Gladsheim, or other heroic domains are shifting between chaotic neutral and chaotic good. There is a shifting, but it is important directly to the plane that shifting exists. The gods of Norse mythology live here. Kord, the god of strength, lives here. And Oladarma, the god of rogues, lives here. Then we get into something else that we have to really talk about. One of these planes is called the Abyss, the plane of infinite layers. Evil lands of shocking perversion and unpredictable horror. Demons live here. Loth, the Demogorgon, Grazit, Orcus, Igwilv, the Witch Queen of Perenlin, the mother of the demigod Eus, the infamous author of the blasphemous Demonomicon, the true identity of Tasha, member of the infamous adventure group known as the Company of Seven. Anyway. So why is that important? Because it is literally a plane devoted to evil. Chaotic evil, to be specific. Demons are inherently evil. Devils are inherently evil. If I say player characters don't have to worry about alignment because alignment is fluid, that doesn't make any sense. How you can say, well, alignment doesn't matter. So demons wouldn't be considered evil anymore. They would be considered a fluid alignment. That a demon could do good acts. That doesn't make any sense, considering there's an entire plane of existence devoted to evil acts and says that these demons are from there. That doesn't make any sense. Why would a demon coming from a plane of existence of pure chaotic evil that I will get into in a minute enter the material world and say, you know what, I don't want to do what I do back home anymore. I'm going to be a good guy. And the people are going to be like, well, I respect him for that because he's a good guy now. Wait, how do we define what a good guy is if there's no good? There's no good moral compass by which to compare your actions to. But then, if we say there's no alignments anymore, entire planes of existence that depend on fueling, being the source of alignments, disappear. We lose entire gods out of a pandemoniums. In fact, we would lose all the deities because they live on planes of existence devoted to alignments. If we say that a cleric of a lawful good deity could do evil actions, we have lost all purpose for all alignment. We have lost all purpose as characters. When you play a game of D&D, you're playing a game of adventurers. And these adventurers are meant to be heroic entities, heroic beings in a world. And if you say those heroic beings or entities can do evil things, or do actions that in a world with alignment would be considered evil, as long as they justify them, it's okay. Then they're not heroic entities anymore. You're making them regular people. And you could say, well, they're heroes. They're meant to be regular people that become heroes, or to stay regular people. Maybe that's your game. Maybe there's regular people. Well, then why would I play? Why would I play in a fantasy world that a DM is slowly but surely making a real one? This reminds me a lot of the gentleman who tried to make a role set where if you took damage, it was realistic and healing was really difficult. Well, if we combine the two, I'm gonna enter a fantasy world. I'm gonna make a character, half orc barbarian. Oh, let's make him a cleric, and I'll make his deity Pelor. All right. So I am a cleric who sees Pelor as a sun deity, and the sun is a great and powerful being, and the sun is an entity in our material plane. But I decide that the things that the sun does not touch aren't worthy of living. I can justify it. I am a cleric of a sun deity. Wherever the sun touches must be good. If the sun doesn't touch it, then it can't be good. Thus, my church of Pelor, decides that we need to kill all the drow, or any dwarves that live underground, or anything that lives underground, because the sun doesn't touch it. And I can justify it by saying, well, my religion says it's good, a good action. We're doing it for a good purpose. We're ridding the world of anything the sun does not touch. Now, if we can go to alignments in it, Pelor is a neutral good deity. Neutral good says that I wouldn't do a mass killing of an entire race, because I'm inherently good. I know that killing a race of people just for the fact that they exist is not a good action. My neutrality says that I might not follow a law, but I'm not going to be totally irreverent of a law. I am aware of a law. If we're going to really use the definition of neutral good, a neutral good character typically acts altruistically, without regard for or against lawful precepts such as rules or tradition. A neutral good character has no problems with cooperating with lawful officials, but does not feel beholden to them. In the event that doing the right thing requires the bending or breaking of rules, they do not suffer the same inner conflict that a lawful good character would. Now we need to balance this out by what a lawful good the character does. It typically acts with compassion and always with honor and a sense of self-duty. Chaotic good does what is necessary to bring about change for the better. They disdain bureaucratic organizations that get in the way of social improvement. They place high value on personal freedom, not only for oneself but for others as well. They usually tend to do the right thing, but their methods are generally disorganized and often out of sync with the rest of society. Lawful good follows society that acts with compassion, honor, and sense of duty. Chaotic good usually does what is necessary for change, goes against the law, and places high value on your freedom, not only for yourself but for others. And neutral good sits right in the middle. But at its core, you're doing good things. You are following some laws, you're going against some. But if you break a rule, you don't have the same inner conflict that a lawful good character would. Because I broke a law, oh my god, I broke a law, what did I do? He says, well, I broke a law, it's okay. It's gonna, if what I'm doing is good, then it's gonna be okay. Good and evil is a common motif in fantasy. We know this. If we base off 3rd edition, this is how good and evil goes. Good implies altruism, respect for life, and concern for the dignity of sentient beings. They make personal sacrifices to help others. Evil implies harming, oppressing, or killing others. Some evil creatures do it for no compassion for others, or kill without qualms if doing so is convenient to it. Others actively pursue evil, killing for sport or out of duty to some mainly violent deity or master. People who are neutral with respect to good and evil have compunctions against killing the innocent, but lack the commitment to make sacrifices to protect or help others. They're committed to others by personal relationships. Law and chaos. Law implies honor, trustworthiness, obedience to authority, and reliability. It also means closed-mindedness, reactionary adherence to tradition, judgmentalness, and lack of adaptability. Chaos implies freedom, adaptability, and flexibility, but also recklessness, resentment towards legitimate authority, arbitrary actions, and irresponsibility. Someone who is neutral with respect to law and chaos has a normal respect for authority and feels neither the compulsion to follow rules nor the rebel. They are honest, but can be tempted into lying or deceiving others if it suits them. So someone who is neutral has respect for law and chaos, normal respect for authority, and feels neither the compulsion to follow rules nor the compulsion to rebel. They're honest. They can be tempted into lying or deceiving others if it suits them. They have altruism. They have respect for life and concern for the dignity of sentient beings. If I was neutral good, I would not be a cleric running around killing off an entire race of people because I have respect for their life. I'm not going around because I have concern for their dignity as being sentient beings. I do good through my actions. If I say there is no alignment anymore in D&D, then the fundamental law of my religion in the game breaks down. In a world with no alignment, there are no clerics. There are no paladins. Because fundamentally, their religion is based on an alignment set by their deity. And if their deity has no set alignment, then that breaks a fundamental rule of the planes of existence of D&D. If a deity has no alignment, then there is no good, there is no evil. There is no law. There is no chaos. There is no order. Entire planes of being that support the very factors of the planes of existence. The strength of law, the strength of chaos, the strength of evil, the strength of good, the fundamental structure, the four axes that make up the being of the plane of existence. Not just the ones of the gods, but also the material plane. These factors are important in holding together how magic works in 5th edition. In D&D, if I say no alignment, no alignments, don't have to worry about alignment anymore, everything breaks down. You could say as a DM it works more fluid. But then you have to justify a storyline. If your players don't have to worry about alignment, then why do they have to go on quests? Why should they help someone they don't want to? If you place fluidity and alignment and say, oh, well, I'm going to play someone more akin to a good character, I can understand where it might come from. But saying you're going to be like someone who's good means you have to base it on something else. Well, how do you find good? Well, I like to help people. And I want to do good things. I want to help people, be kind, and love people. Understandable. So you would say, well then alignment isn't necessary because that person would then do good things. Alright. Your character finds an orphan lying in the road on the street. Of course, they want to help it, so they give it money. Well, that isn't an orphan. That is a spy who happens to be a halfling, disguised as a child. And if you had detect evil, which, I mean, you get a sense it was actually an infernal demon. And demons, as most people know, are tied to a evil plane of existence. So you could say, you would have known he was evil. Because a devil being good, really now. Or an undead being good. So, you would have recognized what its creature type was. Aberrations being good, really. Shoggoths being good, jeez, man. Okay. So, you detect what its creature type is. And you could have known. You could have said, no, I'm not going to give money to this kid. It's not even a kid. It's disguised. But that character doesn't know that now. In a world of no alignment, a kid is a kid. I mean, it's not a deception check that you need to look through because it's a powerful spell that can transform themselves. You're a DM, you can bullshit that way if you want. But if you're gonna say there's no alignment, then the entire world of D&D changes. Animals that in the world are considered unaligned. Because in previous edition, animals were considered neutral, even if they attack innocents because they act on natural instinct and on lack of the intelligence to make moral decisions. In 5th edition, that is unaligned. It was neutral. They were true neutral. You could say, well, my alignments are fluid, so maybe a character becomes true neutral. Then they wouldn't become a hero. They wouldn't do missions. They wouldn't do anything. They'd act on their instinct alone. And if your instinct says kill an innocent person, you can't then go say, well, I'm a human being. We have okay. No alignment is unaligned. That's what it means in 5th edition terms. If all characters are unaligned, they can attack innocents because they could justify it by saying, it was my instinct. But they couldn't justify it because they have the intelligence to make moral decisions. I get that there are people who are very vehemently against alignment. I get that. So let's look at conflicts and dilemmas and some resolutions. Um, if we look at the Wikipedia page on conflicts and dilemmas on alignments, because someone's going to bring it up. A character is non-neutral on both axes, aka neutral neutral on neither, lawful good, chaotic evil, may face a dilemma when the two aspects of their alignment impose conflicting demands. This scenario is most common for lawful good characters in that neither of the sub-alignments condones deviation from its demands. For example, a lawful good character in the situation of Antigone, as depicted by Sophocles, which we'll quickly mention, by the way. Um, it deals with questions of whether a character ought to be given burial rights, whether someone who buried him in defiance of the estate should be punished, and whether their actions are just or thoughtless. So, if they were lawful good, they would be unable to decide whether to bury their brother in violation of the law, or feel forced to both bury the body and accept the death penalty prescribed for doing so. In the character, Antigone chooses the later path and even imposes the penalty on herself by committing suicide. By contrast, although a neutral good character is more than willing to cooperate with the demands of the law, and its officials when doing so serves good ends, he or she does not feel intrinsically beholden to them. In the event that doing the right thing requires the bending and breaking of rules, a neutral good character does not suffer the same inner conflicts as a lawful good character would. In A&D model games, which character descriptions and rules are specific enough, such dilemmas may be resolved by reference to which axis is more important to the character's nature, or which axis holds the most extreme value to character's alignment. Where alignment axes are expressed in continua rather than as mere discrete items as an ordered series, a calculation is one of most important times extremity, equivalent to force times distance, or weight times distance. Calculation which way a physical balance will tip. A game's nomenclature may reflect this distinction by distinguishing between lawful good and good lawful, with the predominant description coming either first, parsing these examples as lawful good or good lawful, respectively, with commas in between. Or lawful subtype of good, or good subtype of lawful. In such games, possible alignments increases from 9 to 13 by splitting each alignment grid's 4 corners into 2 variants. I have no problem with that. I think that is the solution we're looking for here. If I say I'm lawful good, we need to be more clear about what I am. Am I lawful and kind of good? Lawful with a subtype of good? Or am I good with a subtype of lawful? Do I embody goodness in a way that is sometimes lawful? Or do I embody lawfulness in a way that is sometimes good? It is mostly good, I should say. Lawful with that is mostly good. Or good that is mostly lawful. I think that's the solution we need to make. Instead of removing the alignment entirely, we need to take a look at what we're doing with alignment and change it and adjust it in a way that doesn't totally remove it and totally break it down from the world. I understand there are no mechanics for alignment, but just because there are no mechanics for a game does not mean that it's not important to the game. Um, and so I think doing the subtypes, I think works the best. And I wouldn't instigate it in my game. I might in the future, but I think this is it. This needs to be explored and taken for a good ride. At least put in some games and see how it does. Um, I'm not saying that I totally disagree with these people that say alignment should be get rid of. I see some ways that alignment really conflicts with players. And saying, well, I would help you, but my alignment really doesn't do that. And then alignment becomes the crux of an argument. And I feel that what we're doing now needs to be fixed. And that we need to explore alignment better and explore alignment in such a way that we don't immediately go to, well, let's remove it entirely. Subtypes, I think, answers the question of where we should go. I'd like to hear from you guys what you think we should do with alignment. Other than, there's a correct here. Other than removing entirely, what can we do? Is there a way we can adapt other systems' alignments into 5th edition to make it better? But what are some solutions other than completely removing alignment? If you guys like me doing these rambling talks, I don't mind making more of them. Not in the least, but I really see the value of me speaking in audio rather than just writing it, because it actually has some inflection behind it, instead of it being, oh, I disagree with you, and you lose the emotion behind the text. Okay, I'm rambling now. Yeah, so I hope to hear from you guys soon. Ciao.